Hey, I'm Bree, and this is my sister Jules. I'm an English teacher,
And I ate one too many slices of pizza.
and together we drink wine as we unpack the brilliant writing of the hit 90s sitcom Boy Meets World. Cheers!
Cheers!
What are we drinking?
Saint Francis of Assisi Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, it's not St. Francis of Assisi, it's St. Francis. Just to be clear, so people aren't Googling that.
Saint Francis Cabernet Sauvignon. Saint Francis was named after Saint Francis of Assisi. That is why I said that.
True. But don't Google of Assisi.
Or do it. You could do whatever you want.
You can, but you might not find this wine. That's all I'm saying.
Bet. Saint
Any more to say about this
Francis of Assisi wine. It is the second one that comes up. The first one is Saint Francis of Assisi wine.
Well, that's a different wine.
Yes. It's $7.08.
Wow.
We should do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Sonoma County, California. This one, to me, is very rich on the palate. Its aromas have dark fruits and like licorice and dark chocolate. It also says cedar and tobacco. Oh,
All right. We watched season 2, episode 13, entitled Cyrano. Cory is asked to play Cupid. This was directed by David Traynor, written by Susan Estelle Jansen. Yay, another one by her. This came out January 6th, 1995. So they took a little break because I think the last one was before Christmas. 22.1 million viewers. That's, I think, the highest number in the season.
well, not to mention that there's always like a preview before it comes out, right? So maybe the preview is enticing.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. What do you think about this episode? What were your first impressions?
I loved this one. I had a good time watching this one. I had a few issues with it, which I'll get into, but this was like a very enjoyable watch for me from beginning to end.
Okay. So we start off in the classroom, and it's another brilliant English class. Mr. Turner's cooking. He's got his novel in his hand, and he's walking around the class going, Cyrano de Bergerac stands in the shadows, whispering poetry to the lovely Roxanne. But she thinks it's the good-looking guy speaking to her. So our poor big-nosed lug wins the heart of the woman he loves, but he wins it for somebody else. That was a great summary of that book.
Yeah.
Play, actually. What'd you know about Cyrano? Did you do a little research as you usually do?
Dun, 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 dun. I read the play!
You read the whole play?
I read the whole play.
Wait, this is the first time that you've read something that I've never read.
Wow. Should I
know.
lead this episode?
You should take over.
Okay. I did have to read a summary though, because I haven't read it in like 15 years. But I remember that was one of my favorites. I think I saw like a film adaptation of it too.
Roxanne.
Maybe.
The
I don't remember.
1987 American romantic comedy film directed by Fred Schepisi.
Maybe.
Starring Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah.
Steve Martin. Yes. I think I did see that one.
Cool. Wait, so who did you read this for? Yourself?
Nope. I read it with... No. Why would I read anything for myself?
I know, that's why I laughed. Nope.
I think it was 9th grade English.
Wow, what a cool choice. Okay, tell us about it.
Yeah, so the way that the play goes is Cyrano de Bergerac is our main character, and this play is set, I think, in the 11 or 1200s. I don't remember which country. And Cyrano is unconventional in appearance, and he is known for his large nose. And but he is a poet. He speaks beautiful words, and he has a way with words. And he has wooed his lovely Roxanne, who he is in love with, who is also his cousin. But we're not going to talk about that.
Distant cousin.
Mm-hmm. And but he is insecure with how he looks, so he feels like he can't get her. So he does not profess his love to her. But there is another character, I think his name is Christian, who is conventionally attractive, some might say handsome, and he is a little bit of a dum-dum. And so he inquires Cyrano to help him speak to Roxanne. And so basically they both they're able to successfully fool, maybe fool is not the right word, but yes, fool Roxanne into believing that the words that Christian is saying to her to win her over are truly his, when in fact they're Cyrano's. So she ends up falling for Christian because she loves all of the words that he's speaking to her. And she confesses, I don't love you because you're beautiful. I love you for your soul. And being hot is just a plus. And so Cyrano realizes, oh my gosh, she loves him for his soul. Maybe she would love me for my soul. Maybe I done effed up. And so Christian ends up dying in battle, and Roxanne is devastated. And she, I think, goes to a convent, because I think that's what you do at that time when your love, the love of your life, dies. And she's like, I'll never love again. And so 15 years go by, and Cyrano is now on his deathbed. And in his dying hours, he admits to Roxanne, it was me all along. But he doesn't say this directly. He kind of says it in a way that Christian might have said it back in the day, which makes her go, aha, that was you all along. But before anything else can happen after that, Cyrano dies.
Cyrano dies?
Cyrano dies, and he does not win the love of his life. He
Why does
dies
he
before
die?
that could happen. I think old age, probably gout.
Oh my god. All right, so it takes place in Paris, by the way, just so you know. So in France, and it's like between 1640 and 1655. So did you know that Cyrano was a real person?
Yes.
But he did not have a big nose.
What's his story?
He was a novelist and a duelist. So he duels in the play, right?
Oh, duels.
Duels. Oh. Yes. He was also a playwright. But what's interesting about him is that he probably was like the first writer, or the first big writer, to write like sci-fi that depicts space flight by a vessel that has rockets attached to it. And he writes a story about like going to the moon in this rocket and then meeting moon men, like extraterrestrials. He wrote these books that were like the beginnings of sci-fi, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
I don't know why Edmond Rostand gave Cyrano a huge nose. Like, I don't know. It's just like a weird thing to take a real person and be like, I'm going to give them this very distinct characteristic that is not something that they had. You know, why not just make up a person?
Make up
like,
a person. Why? Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't know either. The play Cyrano was the first recorded use of the word panache.
Ooh, that's a sassy word.
Isn't that a sassy word?
What does that mean?
Panache is like flair, like you've got a little panache, like you've got flamboyant confidence of style or manner. But literally, it was the tuft or plume of feathers in like a helmet. You know how helmets would have the like big feathers coming out of it? So that was a panache. But this play used it in the other way. So Turner has summarized the play for us, and Topanga says, that's so sweet and so noble that he would sacrifice his own happiness to help his friend. And Turner goes, other opinions? And all the boys in the class go, loser. Turner's like, okay, define loser. Shawn goes, big dip. Cory goes, it makes no sense. I mean, he likes this girl, and then he passes her on to another guy. Shawn goes, dip, the biggest. Turner's like, Topanga, can you refute the dip theory? Is this your word of the day or not?
No, my word of the
Okay.
day is woo.
Yes! That scene was so funny. Shawn was like, what? What? What is happening? Oh, that was so funny. So a dip is a stupid or foolish person.
I've never heard that word be used that way.
Yeah. A stupid or foolish person. Also, I love that the dictionary was like derogatory, informal, hidden definition. So you had to click to reveal the definition. And then it was like a stupid or foolish person. Like, my eyes.
Derogatory.
Oh, I've been tainted. So Turner's like, Topanga, can you refute the dip theory? Topanga's like, Cyrano performs a totally selfless act, and he does it for the sake of love. That is so romantic. Shawn's like, why? What does he get out of it? He knocks himself out, spewing poetry. His friend gets the girl. All he can do is go home and blow his big nose. Turner's like, rebuttal from the estrogen section, which I actually kind of liked because I felt like Topanga was owning the debate. So, you know what I mean? So I didn't see it as derogatory. Like, I didn't see him as like demeaning the estrogen section. If I hear estrogen, I get like, what are you going to say about estrogen? You know, but he was like, rebuttal from the section that might actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah. That's what I got too. And like, he's clearly trying to point to the difference between how women think and how men think about romance.
Right. So Topanga says, boys don't understand passion and romance and will never understand women. And that's why all of you will spend half your lives confused and the other half paying alimony. Turner's like, this is interesting. The women here find Cyrano compelling and romantic, and yet the men find him misguided and dip-like. What does this tell us? Cory says, women like dips? Turner says, sorry, Matthews, no luck. It tells us that men have a hard time understanding what women find romantic. Theme of episode. Do you think this is true?
I think it can be true.
Okay.
I don't think it's like a very super accurate representation. But I do think that it is a theme that comes from a real experience. I'll put it that way. Do I feel this way in my personal life? No, absolutely not. But I do think there might be a difference in general of the way that men think and women think, and that expands beyond boundaries of romance. I think it's a matter of the desire to want to understand your partner.
Yeah.
That can be a big difference.
Maybe it's the circles I run in, but I've really seen this not run along gender lines. And what I mean by that is like, I've seen men in the position of feeling like their female partners don't understand how to woo them. And I've seen vice versa. You know, in my last relationship, I was totally the boy in the sense that I was constantly being scolded by my partner for not being thoughtful enough and not knowing how to like think about her and woo her and be romantic and be thoughtful and yeah, like I've really identified with Alan in this episode.
I think this episode plays into the trope of men not understanding their women partners. But I do think that it does go both ways.
Totally. So Shawn asks if that will be on the test. And Turner says, oh yeah, in ways you cannot yet imagine. So then we're on the patio and we get the scene where Feeney is lugging his huge gift for Amy for their anniversary out of Feeney's house because he's been hiding it in Feeney's house.
Which, by the way, I knew the second I saw the size of that, I was like, she's going to hate that. Whatever that is, she's going to hate it.
And Alan is all excited because he got her a trash compactor. And he's so stoked because it's what she wanted. And Feeney's like, a trash compactor for your anniversary. How surprising.
I love that he knew right away that was a terrible idea.
And Alan's like, that's the whole idea. I went all out on this one. This is top of the line. This is 2 tons of pressure. You put coal in this baby, you get diamonds. And Feeney's like, that might have been a better way to go. And Alan doesn't get it. And we're in the kitchen now. Alan's rolling in this huge box. He's all excited and he's calling up the stairs, Amy, my bride, dinner reservations in half an hour. And Eric's like, so what's up, Dad? And Alan's like, I'll give you a clue. Something very important happened 17 years ago. Eric's like, it's your anniversary, right? And Alan's like, correct. And Eric's like, gifts. All right. And he tries to get him and Cory's name on the card. He's like, you got to let us in on this. And Eric grabs the card and Amy comes down. I'm ready for dinner. What'd you think about her outfit?
It was all right. I thought it felt like a grand reveal, and I was like, I've seen better from you.
She had weird outfits in this one.
Yes, you're right. Multiple weird outfits. I was distracted. Let's just put it that way.
I was distracted. Yeah, she had like big collars, big collars going on. She's like, I'm ready. He's like, that and more. You're ready for dinner and more, aka sex. But are you ready for this? And Amy's like, oh, what is this? Happy anniversary, my sweet. And she opens it up and he's so excited. He's like, yes. And then when she reveals it, he's like, yes, again. She's like, thank you. And Cory's like, yeah, we were just putting our names on that. Eric cuts him off. Cory. And then he reads the note. To Amy, with love, from Alan. Just Alan. Nobody else. See ya. And he runs upstairs with Cory. Alan's like, well, do you like it? And Amy says, yes, it's fine. Let's go. Alan's like, Amy, call me crazy, but this is exactly what you said you wanted. Amy's like, yes, Alan. And a trash compactor would be a lovely gift on, say, a Tuesday. Alan's like, you said you wanted compactor. I get compactor. Why oog wrong?
I love that he was very he had a lot of self-awareness there. Also, like, how is he making this mistake again? We just went through this with him with the car purchasing.
Oh yeah. Well,
this
that was
is
the opposite.
what you wanted. I got you what you wanted.
Yeah, but that was different. You know, I'm glad you brought that up because now I understand why he was so hurt, because he thinks, I did it right this time. You literally said you want this. The car, I thought you said you wanted it, but you actually didn't say you wanted it. You were thinking about it, right? She never actually said she wanted the car. Yeah. He thought she did, and then he was hasty about it. This time, he's like, I didn't make a mistake this time because you said you wanted it, and I got it.
Yeah, that's true. And oog, still wrong. Big wrong.
Amy's like, we don't want to be late for dinner. Alan's like, oog, not sleep in cave tonight. I feel bad for Alan. I did feel bad for Alan in this episode, and I feel bad for him in general.
His heart was in the right place, yes. But he was he needed to do some searching to see what she might actually want. I felt bad for him, but come on, man. You've been with her for 17 years. You should know by now.
Right? So we are in the hallway, and we get a lot of Harley and Joey and Frankie in this episode, and a new character, Gloria. What'd you think about Gloria?
She felt like she reminded me of Grease.
Yeah. All these characters do, especially Harley.
Yeah.
You're right. I thought she was great. The actress was excellent. Mm-hmm. She was also like 27, but she was great.
Yeah, she makes me miss Harley's sister. I wish we get more of her.
Gloria comes over and she puts her arms around Harley, and it's clear they're in a relationship, and she's like, Harley, what, no kiss? And Harley's like, I'm not feeling real kissy, Gloria. Gloria, how come last night you keep me waiting for 20 minutes outside your house? And Gloria's like, how come you sit outside my house, honk your horn, and don't come in? And Harley's like, because maybe I saw your father waiting by the door, and maybe I don't want to say hello. And Gloria's like, that was my mother. I don't like these jokes. I never will. I don't think it's funny. I don't know. It's always like the mom has to be feminine and beautiful. Otherwise, it's punchline. I hate it. Harley's like, then I definitely don't want to meet your father. Gloria's like, all my girlfriends, they have guys who come up to the door. And Harley's like, that's because they don't have any cars. And Gloria's like, they got cars and they got manners, so there. And Harley's like, you got your finger in my face. You call that manners? And Joey's like, hey, lovebirds. I don't like what I'm hearing. Where's the magic gone in the relationship, if I may venture to interject mine? And they're like, crock it, Joey. So Harley asks what's the matter with Frankie, who's been awfully quiet. Which we know now why. But at the moment, we don't know why, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm just having some quiet time.
You do you.
You do you. And Harley's like, that's good. Some people around here could learn from that. Looking at Joey, who was like, consider me corked. The next words you hear will not be mine because I'm 100% absolutely zip. Bye. Cory and Shawn are talking loudly, which is dumb of them, in the hallways. Coming around the corner, they don't see Harley and Joey and Frankie yet. Cory's going, I'm telling you, the macaroni and cheese had more grease than Harley's hair. Shawn's like, I think that's how they made it. They just turned him over and wrung him out. Oh! As they run into him. Harley's like, and I thought it was going to be a slow day. Cory's like, you thought we were talking about your hair? No, everybody knows your hair's not greasy. Harley's like, well, why don't you test it and tell me? Cory runs his fingers through Harley's hair. Wow, dry as a bone. Puts his hand behind him on the locker, slips down and falls to the floor. And then he gets up, he's like, sorry, inner ear problem. Sometimes I'm like, you wouldn't know that though. Like you have not demonstrated that you're smart enough to understand that your inner ear is the balance of your body. Harley gives Cory a quarter and tells him to go call his parents to say goodbye. Cory's like, Harley, in many countries, what I said about your hair, it might be considered a compliment. For example, grease. Glory's like, that's funny. Harley's like, yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. Cory's like, so I get to live? And Harley's like, ha, there's that humor again. I will miss that. So Gloria stands up for him and she's like, oh, Harley, are you sure you want to beat him up? Shawn's like, yeah, you don't want to do something ugly to us in front of this beautiful angel of the hallway. Harley, listen very carefully to the writing of this line. Why would you waste your time pounding us when you could be spending it with Claudia Schiffer's cuter sister?
I am with you. I thought that was going in a different direction.
All right. I think he was probably meant to pause there as the actor. Like, I think he was meant to be like pounding us when you could be spending it with, you're right. Claudia Schiffer, do we know her? Have we met her? No, I don't think so, right?
No, I didn't recognize her.
Okay. Shawn was smooth.
He was.
So, of course, Gloria's like, I don't know that I would say cuter. So now she's like getting closer to Shawn, and Harley just goes, turn it off. And Shawn goes, turning it off, sir. Gloria's like, oh, come on, Harley, go easy on him. Do it for me. Harley's like, very well, Gloria. I love when he like puts on this like weirdly proper speech. Frankie does it all the time. Very well, Gloria. I will not lay a hand on them. Frankie, remember that piñata I promised you for your birthday? He is 2. Feliz Navidad. And he throws Cory and Shawn at him. So we're in the cafeteria. Frankie's about to pound Cory and Shawn, but he gives them an option. He says, I could either kill you or you could help me. I've fallen in love. And I noticed that you guys, he says to Cory, you're a pretty good talker. And he says to Shawn, you're pretty good with the ladies, and I need your help. Cory's like, no, I don't think that we're going to be like the right guys for this. Frankie then is like, all right, then I'll freaking kill you. And then, yeah, we cut to basically them helping him out. Cory's like, Frankie, I don't know if we're the guys to help you woo her. Shawn goes, what? Cory's like, have you talked to Harley about this? I mean, he could probably help you out more than us. Frankie says, so you do not feel able to do me this favor? Cory's like, yeah, it's probably not such a good idea. Frankie's like, yeah, you're probably right. All right, pinata boys, which one of you has the prize inside? And Shawn just goes, I don't want to die before I know what woo is.
I picked woo as my word of the day because I know what it means, but I've never thought about it. Like, where did that word come from? Woo, yeah. W-O-O feels so weird to me. So it does mean essentially to win someone over in affection, usually in a romantic sense. Mm-hmm. The origin is from Old English. It comes from wogian, which is to court or marry or make love to. It also has Germanic roots, Old High German wooen, to marry or to take as a wife. Yeah, wow. So it's like originally from like formal courtship.
Okay. But also kind of scandalous. Thank you for that. The more you know. So we're in the kitchen and we get a little scene between Alan and Amy. Amy is like icing Alan out. He's doing all these chores. He's like, I cleaned those gutters. I'll take out the garbage. And she's just like violently chopping vegetables and not talking to him. So he goes out to the patio with the garbage and he talks to Feeney. Feeney's out there. And Feeney looks at the garbage. She's like, that looks suspiciously like a fluffy, non-compacted bag of garbage. And Alan's like, yeah, well, I haven't gotten around to installing the trash compactor. Feeney's like, will you be? And Alan's like, not in this lifetime. I'm aware that it was an appliance, but it's not like it was a toaster. It was a very expensive appliance. I would have never gotten it for her hadn't it been a very special occasion. Heck, it cost more than her engagement ring. Feeney's like, not an argument I would recommend using.
Yeah.
Alan's like, you know what I'm saying. Feeney says, perfectly. She asked for a trash compactor, and you went out and got it. Kind of a no-brainer. Alan's like, no-brainer? Feeney's like, well, it was a real time saver, wasn't it? I mean, you didn't have to sit around thinking about her, racking your brains about what she would like, what would make her feel good, what were the things about her that you love. Alan's like, whoo, I missed that exit completely. You think there's time to back up? And Feeney's like, on the husband highway, there's very little forward traffic, just a million well-intentioned men backing up frantically. English teacher moment. That is called a conceit, an extended metaphor.
I don't understand why Feeney is single. He could get so many ladies.
But it was implied that he was married in the past here. Because Alan says, you've been down that highway before, huh, George? And Feeney says, yes, I have. Before it was paved. Which implies like a very long time ago. Like when he was very young, he was married.
Interesting.
What's his backstory?
I know.
He's so mysterious.
He is. He's lived 1,000 lives.
He really has.
Yeah.
I love him so much. We're in the living room and Cory and Shawn enter the living room from the front door and Eric's already in there, and as Cory comes in, Eric's like, hey, Cor, and Cory says hi, and then Shawn comes in, Eric says Shawn, and then Frankie walks in, and Eric goes, ah! And Cory's like, Eric, you know Frankie Stechino. Frankie, this is my brother Eric. And Frankie's like, sure, Eric, I stole your lunch every day, 9th grade. Don't tell me. Tuna on white? Eric goes, wheat. Frankie's like, right. Those were the days, huh? Eric's like, excuse me, what's the enforcer doing in our house? Shawn's like, we have it under control. Eric's like, under control? Frankie Stechino sprinkles guys like you on his pizza. Corey's like, Eric, please, everything's fine. Eric's like, okay, just remember, no sudden movements, no shiny objects in front of his face, okay? It's nice seeing you again, Frankie, as he like heads up the stairs. Frankie goes, nice to see you again, Tuna. So Frankie's like, all right, teach me the ways of love. And they start to reenact this scene. So Shawn picks up a lamp. He's like, all right, what if let's pretend this is her. Frankie's like, could it be the pillow? So Corey's like, anything you want, big guy. And he picks up this like red fluffy pillow and he puts it in front of his face. And Frankie looks at the pillow as though it's this woman. They don't know who it is, by the way. They think he's helping him with some woman. And Shawn is like hovering over Frankie like, there she is. Oh, she looks very pretty today. We get a shot of just Corey with the pillow in front of his face. Frankie's just like, I'd better go. Shawn's like, come on, tell her how nice she looks. I can't take my eyes off of you, Frankie repeats. I can't take my eyes off of you. Corey's like, thank you, Frankie, that's very nice. Shawn's like, I just wanted to tell you how pretty that dress is, Frankie. I just wanted to tell you how pretty that dress is. Corey's like, oh, this whole thing? All right, so they practice. They end up in Frankie's locker for the moment when Frankie's actually going to woo the girl. So we get a shot of Cory and Shawn in the locker. Frankie's on the outside. Frankie's whispering to them, all right, stay with me here. Cory's like, Frankie, there's nowhere we can go. Gloria walks up. She goes, Frankie, you're talking to yourself. As Frankie's saying, not really, see, Cory's in the locker going, does she sound familiar to you? Shawn's like, quiet. And then he delivers the line. This is hard for me today, Shawn says, because I've watched you for so long, and I've always dreamed of telling you how I feel about you, Frankie, because I've watched you so long, and I've always dreamed of something. Gloria's like, what are you saying? Shawn says, I love you. Frankie says, I love you. And Gloria goes, you do? And then Frankie goes rogue, and he starts walking towards her, and now it's just all him. I've always loved you. I think about you all the time. If you were my girl, I would treat you like the magic princess that you are. Gloria, you know, your friend never talks to me like this. Frankie, perhaps he is not racked with the love that consumes his entire being. You want to go get a burger? Gloria, I would love to.
Aww. I love Frankie.
I know.
He's so sweet.
I know. And I'm glad he found his poetic soul, because he is so poetic. He's very good with his words. He just lost it around her because he was so in love with her.
So, he was fumbling. Aww. He's so gentle.
He's so gentle. Except he wanted to pound them.
Yeah.
So we need to remember that he's also
We've only heard about him pounding people. We haven't confirmed. He might be all talk.
This is true. Still, hold people accountable. Stop doing that. Shawn, so as they're coming out of the locker, Cory's going to Shawn, I just figured out who that girl was. And Shawn's like, hey, she likes him. We did it. Cory's like, oh, we did it all right. We just fixed up Frankie with Harley Keiner's girlfriend. Shawn's like, that's not possible. They look up the hallway. They see them together. Cory is like, oh boy, we're in so much trouble. Shawn's like, nobody saw us. No witnesses. Without witnesses, it's all just circumcised evidence.
I was so thrown off by that line. I was not expecting him to say that. Circumcised evidence? Interesting.
To be clear, circumstantial evidence, right? Circumstantial.
Oh, is that what he meant to say?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Got it. That's really funny.
So Cory's freaking out. We just helped Frankie snake Harley's girlfriend. I mean, we gave him love lessons. We hid in the locker. We told him what to say. How is that not trouble? Shawn's like, okay, let me think. Protective custody, plastic surgery. We dress up as girls, pretend we're out of town cousins, and say we haven't seen ourselves. What? Cory's like, that'll never work. And Shawn says, oh yeah? Tell my Uncle Mary. And Harley comes around. Cory's like, Harley, how are you? Harley's like, didn't I tell Frankie to dispose of you guys? And Shawn goes, yes. And he did. He killed us big time. I love that Shawn says these things and then Cory's like, all right, now I have to figure out how to get us out of that one. So Cory's like, and now we are the angels of ourselves. Shawn's like, and it's time for us to float away. Just like prance away. Float, float. Harley's like, either of you angels see my girl? Cory's like, you mean Gloria? Shawn's like, no, we haven't seen her. Cory's like, no, there's no reason we would have seen her. Shawn's like, we were in the locker the whole time. Shawn, shut up. Harley's like, the whole time what, boys? So then we're at Chubby's. Gloria and Frankie are totally cuddled up in a booth. Gloria's telling Frankie, it's okay that you don't have a lot to say. Still waters run deep. Frankie's like, I'm an ocean of love for you. Gloria's like, no one ever said anything sweet like that to me before. Harley is staring at them from the stairwell. Cory and Shawn are on his either side. And Harley's going, I cannot believe my eyes. I am betrayed by my best girl and my most trusted flunky. Also a possible word of the day. A flunky is a lackey. It's a liveried manservant or footman. A person who performs relatively menial tasks for someone else, especially obsequiously.
Wow.
Yeah, great word. Excellent word. That might be my actual word of the day for this episode. So I don't have a fake one. Harley's like, my world is shattered. I feel so vulnerable. Think I'm going to have to kill somebody. Kicks everybody out except Gloria and Frankie and Shawn and Cory. And Frankie's like, Harley, I can explain. And Harley's like, I look forward to hearing it. And Frankie's like, I went behind your back and stole your girl. Nice. I know this is a betrayal of a sacred trust, but I have no choice. I am but a pawn of love. Harley's like, how could you do this to me? Gloria's like, you want to know how? I'll tell you how. All it took was somebody saying something nice to me for a change, making me feel special for a change. Harley's like, I make you feel special. I get you stuff. Gloria's like, what did you ever get me that made me feel special? Harley's like, tires, steel belted. Gloria goes, 3. Harley goes, the guy came back. So he stole her 3 tires. And then Gloria's like, you never think about what I like. Harley's like, I ain't got that kind of time. I hated that I was identifying with Harley and Alan in this episode. Gloria says, maybe you should have made some time. Maybe if you cared about me and thought about me instead of all the time thinking about you. And Harley goes, if I thought about you, who'd think about me? Huh? I was like, this is where I'm coming from, though. Like, I'm trying to take care of me so you don't have to take care of me. I'm not trying to be a burden to you. I'm trying to make sure that we're good. I'm working. I'm at work. I'm making sure we're all stable. Like, I really do take on like the male mentality in a relationship.
Yeah. Well, what's your love language?
Quality time. So like, I like to just be with my person and I like to experience things. I like to have experiences with my partner. I'm not really someone that wants to like stare into my partner's eyes and like just talk about how much we love each other, like that kind of cringes me out. It's like weird to me, even though that's probably what I should get more comfortable with. And I don't necessarily need like gifts or love notes or anything from my partner. Like I don't really want them, and I don't want a partner that needs them from me either. Like I kind of just want us to view being in a relationship as like two people who have partnered up in life to like make life easier for each other by handling life's responsibilities together, and also just like having a good time together. Like I see our relationship as we're watching shows together. Like we do everything together. Like I would never do something without my partner. I would never be like, oh, I'm just gonna go off and like see a show and like not tell them, or go off with my friends, unless that would be like a conversation like, hey, are you okay if I go and see the show with my friends on a Saturday night? Like, because ultimately I do want to be doing everything with my partner.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's perfectly reasonable and healthy. I think the important part is to make sure that your partner understands that that's who you are, and that though you have your own ways of showing your affection and your appreciation for them. That's not necessarily like always talking about, you're the light of my life, I love you so much, you're so beautiful. And
I think the way that I show love is actually with words of I compliment my partner a lot. So like I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so intelligent, you're so like I love the way that your mind works around this kind of thing, or like, oh, you look so good in that, or because I wouldn't be with someone if I didn't have all these positive feelings towards them. I really need someone who like that's how they receive love. Like they want to be constantly reminded why I'm in a relationship with them. And it's not like I'm writing you love letters, but it's just like all the little comments I make throughout the day, and the way that I laugh at your jokes, and the way that I like just am around you and look at you and hold your hand and like want to be like cuddling up against you on the couch.
Yeah, that's all perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. And I actually think I'm a very thoughtful gift giver. I do really think about a person, right?
Yeah.
I like compliment myself on that. I'm like, that's one thing that I think I have.
Give yourself credit. You're not like Harley.
Yeah, but I was made to feel like Harley in my last relationship.
That's
and
different.
like Alan. So Glory's like, you never think about what and Harley's like, I ain't got that kind of time. And Glory's like, maybe you should have made some time. Maybe if you cared about me and thought about me instead of all the time thinking about you. And Harley's like, if I thought about you, who would? So Cory interrupts and he goes, guys, this is where it got a little bit far-fetched. So Harley, out of character, listens to Cory and says, what? And Cory says, every couple goes through this. I mean, you're going through it. My parents are going through it. Okay, completely out of character. Harley says, your parents do this?
Yeah, this was problem one that I had.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, why are you concerned with his parents? It felt out of character. It felt out of place.
Totally out of character and out of place. Like, Harley would totally be like, I don't care about your parents. Shut up.
Yeah.
See, my mom's mad at my dad because he got her a trash compactor for their anniversary. Even if Harley, out of character, might have been interested for a second, now Harley would have been like, I don't care.
I really don't care. Yeah.
But Harley, oddly invested, goes, what a yutz. And Glory goes, oh yeah, that's a long way from Taya's. Harley's like, so your parents, they're going to split up? Okay, now I'm like, where have you gone?
He's way more invested in his parents' relationship than his own relationship.
Literally, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. So he's worried now about Cory's parents splitting up. Cory's like, no, I mean, they'll work it out. They always do. The older I get, the more I'm like, this is all propaganda for the parents watching the show, right? Because I think this is a message for the parents that, like, you always have to work it out.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And Harley asks how. How do they work it out? And Cory says, I don't know. And Harley says, they always do? Cory says, yeah. So Harley goes over to the Matthews house.
Problem number 2.
Yeah. Say more.
This was so weird. It made no sense that his character would go to their house. Does he even know where they live? It was weird. It's not surprising that Amy just lets him in like, hi, but it is so like, what the hell are you doing there? I think they tried to make a reason for him to be there by saying like, oh, well, I would ask my own mom, but she's out by 4:00. That was the only give, but it still was such a bizarre scene to me.
Agreed. So they end up sitting down for tea, and Eric comes in. He's like, no, leave my mom alone, Kleiner. Amy's like, Eric, what is the matter with you? Eric's like, don't you know who that is, Mom? And Amy's like, yes, I do. And everything is under control. More tea, Harley? Harley's like, just a smidge. So why did I think of that scene from Toy Story?
I was just thinking of that scene from Toy Story. What was the name of the...
I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Yeah. That's exactly what that scene is channeling.
Eric's like, Harley Kleiner's drinking tea in my kitchen. What is going on? Amy's like, it's personal, and I don't think Harley wants to talk about it in front of you. Eric's like, oh, he's getting in touch with his inner thug. Amy's like, Eric, and she pushes him up the stairs. So Harley's like, Mrs. Matthews, you've been married for a few years. You probably have some insight. What do women want? So I found this to be an episode because, again, I think like this show is essentially sending messages to young boys, right? So this is the show's way of addressing that question that boys and men might have, which is like, what do women want? I feel like I've heard that question thrown around in like the 90s when we were growing up. What women want? There was this big question about what women want. I feel like that was a big theme throughout a lot of TV shows. And
that was a theme, and also just like that, like women are so complicated, so hard to understand,
so mysterious.
Yeah.
What do women want? Amy answers the question. She says, oh, it's pretty simple. All women really want is to be appreciated. Which is also what men want.
Yeah.
Which is also what every human being wants.
Yeah.
And Amy says, do you think that maybe Gloria feels a little unappreciated? Harley says, who knows what she thinks? Amy's like, you should. You're her boyfriend. Harley's like, geez, Mrs. Matthews. Amy's like, feelings and emotions is what it's all about, Harley. I'll bet you Gloria thinks a lot about you. Harley's like, well, who could blame her? Amy's like, then you should think about her. How you feel about her. How much you appreciate her. Harley's like, she's my girlfriend. Isn't that enough? I mean, why does she need to be appreciated all the time? I think I'm better than Harley. You're right. I should give myself more credit. But a little bit of me, I was saying things like this a little bit when I was with my ex. Like, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I am with you. I live with you. I am with you. Everything that you want and need, I make sure it happens. All she had to do was like say, I want to try this restaurant, or I want to go to this place, or I want to do this thing, and I'd be like, done, let's do it. Like, and I'm a little bit like a boy in that way, where I just need you to say what you want, and then I'll make it happen. I will make that. If I'm in love with you and you tell me you want to like do literally anything, I will make note of that and I will make it happen. And to me, that's like how I show love. But if you want me to like do some weird thing where I figure out what you want, even she wanted me to provide her with something that she didn't even realize she wanted. Like, I read her in a way where I realized, like, I can't do that. I cannot.
Well, that's not on you or anybody to do. She has to figure that out for herself. That's not fair to ask anybody to decipher what it is that's in her head. I know this from personal experience. I am that way sometimes, and that's something that I'm working on, where I really want, like, I'm feeling some type of way about something and I want somebody to make it better, whatever that means, and I get like a little bit mad at them for not doing the thing when they don't even know what to do because I can't even articulate how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what you're talking about right now, I think, is like what's considered typically feminine in this episode. Which is like, I want you to provide me with something that, fulfills me in a way that I can't articulate.
Yeah.
So when Alan later gets her the pearl necklace, like she never asked for that. She didn't know that that's like what she needed, right? But he was able to think about her and figure out that that would be a nice thing to get for her. And like, I think that was a good move. Yeah, I think that was really nice. I think anything that shows some thought would have been fine with her, you know? And for you, do you feel like if you're in that place, is it really anything that might work as long as you feel like that person thought about you and considered you? Or are there things that are the wrong thing to do, even if they thought it was the right thing to do?
I've gotten gifts in the past from like exes that I definitely questioned, like, I'm curious as to why you think I would want this. But I wasn't like mad at them. I didn't make it a thing. I was more just like, huh, that's interesting. I certainly prefer more thoughtful gifts, but it's not my love language in the that like giving and receiving gifts. I enjoy it for sure, but it's not my like first or second love language.
Yeah. Yeah, gifts are definitely not, like, they mean nothing to me. Don't waste, anybody that dates me, don't waste your money on gifts for me. I just want to have an experience. And honestly, like, I'm such a Capricorn that I need to pay for everything always. Otherwise, I don't feel good about it. I literally will not enjoy a meal if I don't pay for it. The fact that now I'm never going to forget that this person paid for this dinner for me, and I'm always going to feel indebted to them, which I shouldn't, but I will feel that way. Yeah. Okay, so Amy is telling him that he should think about her. And he's saying, she's my girlfriend. I mean, like, why does she need to be appreciated all the time? And Alan comes in and hugs his wife and says, because that's how you show people you care about them. By thinking about what they want. What would make them happy? And by the way, who are you? Harley's like, just a fella who took a wrong turn on the highway to love. Alan's like, been there. Amy's like, so Harley, you're going to talk to Gloria again? Harley says, no. You were correct when you said I should think about what she wants. And what she wants now is Frankie. This is how it has to be. I shall have to wait my turn and another chance for love. What do you think about that?
That was really big of him.
It really was.
Yeah.
I was actually really proud of him for that. I was like, you're right. That is what she wants.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing you could do in learning to give, like, learn to appreciate your partner and give them what they want.
Yep.
What they really want.
Yep.
Even if it hurts you.
Totally. So Harley goes to leave. He tells Alan he's a lucky guy. Alan's like, yeah, I know that. But really, who are you? And then Cory bursts through the door and says, Harley Keiner! Alan's like, oh, thank you. Just listen to me. Listen, take me. Don't kill them. That was very nice of Cory to sacrifice himself for his parents. Harley says, it's okay, baboon. Death takes a holiday. And then he goes to walk out with the teacup still in his hand. And Alan's like, well, nice to meet you. The teacup? Harley's like, good eyes. So Harley exits. Cory asks what was going on. Amy explains that he had a girlfriend problem. He didn't appreciate her much. Alan says something that happens to you young guys, but not us seasoned veterans. We know never to take the people we care about for granted. We like to show them that every day together is a gift. And then he smoothly pulls out a little box, jewelry box. It's a pearl necklace. He says, happy anniversary, darling. One for every year we're married. Amy says, that is so sweet. But we've only been married 17 years. Sorry, I forgot to mention that he said it's 18 pearls, one for every year that we've been married. And Alan says, one for the year we weren't married. And Amy goes, oh yeah, that was a good year. Implying that they had pretty good sexual relations, premarital. And Cory's like, what does that mean?
Share with the class.
It's secrets, they're no fun. And then Alan and Amy start making out right in front of Cory. This is the other thing that I think the show is trying to get kids to normalize seeing their parents make out, because Cory and Eric consistently are like so chill around their parents being like very PDA.
Yeah.
And they're making out and Cory's just like, hello, like what does it mean? I asked you a question. And they keep making out and he's just like, all right, get a room. So we get our final scene in the cafeteria where Turner goes up to Cory and he's like, hey Matthews, I was just grading the Cyrano papers and I liked your work. Cory's like, well, that's not surprising because I am Cyrano. Turner's like, mm-hmm. And Cory's like, no, I'm serious. See them? Pointing to Frankie and Gloria. And Turner's like, yeah. And Cory says, I did the whole Cyrano bit. I put them together. Which is funny because Shawn actually did the Cyrano bit. But anyway.
Yeah.
Turner's like, wait, you're saying you were in love with her, but you stepped aside for the other guy? Cory's like, no, I just hid in a locker and helped Frankie woo her. Turner's like, what? Cory says, woo her, thinking that's the reason that he said the what, because Shawn had said the what earlier. No, he knows what that word means. And Turner's like, oh, well, job well done, Matthews. Cory says, so you think maybe there's some extra credit in this for me? Turner's like, no, but tell me what you learned. Cory says, all right, love is something you can never take for granted. So if you find someone you really, really care about, never buy her tires or major appliances.
Well done, Cory.
Good
you got it.
Job. Turner's like, Matthew's a very mature understanding of the mystery of love. You are wise beyond your years. And then Shawn comes in and goes, Cory, you got to come quick. The girls' volleyball team is running laps. And Cory goes, oh, baby. And they head off. Oh, my God. So they have learned nothing. He's not wise behind his years at all. All right. What are your takeaways?
I think in talking through this with you after watching the episode, I think this serves as a reminder to continue to show my appreciation to those that really need it. And this is actually very interesting timing that this that we're talking about this episode, because I'm thinking about it from a romantic sense with my partner, but I'm also thinking about it from a professional sense, because our company just announced some promotions, and I think like a lot of people are very excited. Some people didn't get news that they were hoping for, and I've had a lot of conversations today with people about like not feeling valued, feeling like they're not being told that they're doing a job well done. And I had that conversation today actually of saying like, I need to be better about making sure that I'm telling people that they're doing a really good job. And I did that today. Like I thought certain people were doing great. And I was like, I really appreciated what you did today in this specific project you're working on. And I needed to tell you that. And I can tell that meant a lot to them. And I think that goes such a long way. It keeps people going, right? Because it can be so defeating to get news like that you feel like you're not growing, you're not getting the recognition you deserve from like top level. To get that, peer appreciation means everything. And this just serves as a reminder to me to do that.
Absolutely. Fully. Couldn't agree more. This year was the first time in a long time that I've received some positive feedback from my boss. And it truly has done wonders for my motivation at work.
Yeah.
So for all y'all out there who are in positions of power, compliment the people around you. Even if you're thinking it, the people don't know it if you're not saying it out loud, Yeah,
because I guarantee you that they're in their head about it, right? Like everybody else, like myself, like, did I do a good job? Did I do enough? Am I enough? Am I doing a good enough job? And to their boss or somebody, it might be like, yeah, you're doing a great job. Like, I shouldn't even have to tell you. Like, that should be obvious. Like, you are doing great. Like,
yeah.
That's
otherwise you'd be fired.
Clear to me, right? But it's not clear to the person who's doing the work. I think that's true for most people.
Totally.
Unless you're a narcissist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my takeaway, I don't know if everything is crystallized into something fully formed yet. Like I'm still mulling over some of the themes in this because I'm definitely thinking about my last relationship a lot in this episode. I think I was very misunderstood in my last relationship. I say that I identified with Harley and Alan, but I really think that I was made to feel like Harley and Alan in my last relationship.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was, that's the theme I was getting from what you were saying. You feel like you're these people, but I don't actually think you are.
I agree.
And that's really devastating.
Yeah, it is. So my takeaway is, honestly, sadly, like, I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm going to bring my natural, thoughtful self into my next relationship, but I'm going to be a little bit more aware of the fact that I need to make sure that my next person receives love the way that I give love and appreciates what I can bring into their life. And I think I'm going to be better at figuring out earlier whether or not my next person is a good match for me because of everything that I learned in my past relationship. I don't ever want to feel like I'm not providing my partner with what they need. Like, I don't think I'm Alan. I don't think I'm Harley. Like, I think I'm much more thoughtful. I really think I do consider what my partner wants, what would make them happy. I all I ever want is to make my partner happy. And so I need to make sure that I pick someone who I can provide that for. I am capable of making them happy. So that concludes the episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard, rate and review us. Follow us at Boy Meets Wine Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. The name of the wine we had today was St. Francis Cabernet Sauvignon. Theme song credit goes to Julia Rosa. And next week's episode is Season 2, Episode 14, entitled I Am Not a Crook. Cory discovers that power can do strange things to one's ego. Bye!